So today I tried another new thing. Seems like every day I'm trying something new, but I had a thought about why I'm failing these high rep sets. One of you guys asked me, what gives out first? Is it the sort of the lungs, the breathing, or is it the muscles that give out first? And I think it's the lungs. It's tough to say because we're an integrated system, right? I'm feeling the burn in my muscles because of lack of oxygen. It's not anything else really. So is it the lungs or is it the muscle, or is it the muscle's efficiency of using oxygen? So it's a weird thing, isn't it? Your lactic acid is formed when it has to go into anaerobic metabolism, meaning it doesn't have enough oxygen to supply for the demand as you're going, and so the body has to produce energy in a shortage of oxygen, and this is where lactic acid comes in. So it's a bit of a catch-22. Like, which one is it? I guess if I was really efficient at using the oxygen, my muscles would have no problem. But then again, if my muscles are really, really weak and there's heaps of oxygen, I still fail anyway. So anyway, that kind of got me thinking about why I'm failing. And one of the first things that I thought of was, yeah, sure, like the lungs give out and the muscles give out and the legs and stuff. But one of the most discomfortable, if that's a word, uncomfortable elements of high rep sets is the freaking upper back for me, man. Like, the bar starts crushing me. My traps light up. The ball starts to roll down my back. And the first thing I ever think about in those situations is get this bar off my back. So I thought to myself, how long could actually last with the bar on my back? So I thought today I was going to, with a 60 kilo barbell, right? 60 kilos, so 20 on each side. I was gonna load it up and I would take 10 breaths after every 5th repetition. So I did 5, took 10 breaths. Did 5 sets, so 5 reps, now it's 10 reps. Take another 10 breaths. At 15, take another 10 breaths. At 20, take another. And so I think all up the set took about 3 minutes. I think I got like 35 repetitions. I'm sure it's gonna be on the screen, but it was really weird because I can usually get 50 reps with 60 kilos when I kind of just, squat, I guess, the first 20, no problem. And then I take, I don't know what I do, 10 at a time or something like that. So I can hit 50. And the reason why I racked the bar at 35 wasn't because the legs were tight or the lungs. It was basically because my traps were on fire. And the bar was rolling my back. So I was kind of like an arm workout, essentially, what it happened being, because I was trying to roll the bar up my back, and that was getting fatigued. So, and then what happens when your upper back starts to fatigue is you start to lean forward ever so slightly at the top, kind of to make more of a shelf. So the bar sits more of a horizontal sort of shelf rather than, going downhill on your back. So then you start to lean forward, and then what happens then is that your glutes get engaged more and your posterior chain, and so you're not resting at all on the top. Oh man, it's just a cascade of events that happen. Eventually it breaks you. But anyway, so I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that. How long can you last with the bar on your back? Now, I know some of you guys are strongman competitors and, yoke walk and whatever, and you guys probably train that, you're probably strong in that. But clearly, I don't have enough conditioning, I guess, to do longer than basically 3 minutes. 3 minutes is my peak before I start to break down. Sure, I could probably push up to 4 minutes, but then I'm starting to break form and all sorts. Like, that's what I just said. My upper back gets fatigued, then my glutes start taking the hit, and then my glutes can't contribute to the same extent in the squat, and so forth. And so then with the 100 kilos, I kind of try to do the same thing. I did 5, I did 5, I did 5, I did 5. And then, so 5 sets of 5, I basically did in one set. And in between those repetitions, I took 5 breaths because I thought there was no way I was going to make, 25 repetitions if I was taking 10 breaths after every 5th repetition. So it's just an interesting way. Basically, it's time under tension. How much punishment can you take even just standing with the barbell? I know it sounds funny, and that's something that people don't generally think about in training. It's, people who train for sets and reps and weight, but there's so many other variables that come to mind, and one of them is how long is the set, right? You could be using 50% on your 1 rep max, i.e. what I just did there with 100 kilos. But if that thing is taking you 5 minutes to complete, like you're just standing there with a barbell, you know, make a list of all the muscles that are being engaged at the top when you're not doing anything, you're just standing. It's endless, man. Like your core isn't working. There's all these different mechanisms that are working that we probably don't even understand. This is the trouble with isolation exercising, is that you can't account for all of the muscles that, you know, come into play with compound movement, with dynamic movement, with, you know, wholesome system movements, you know, like squat, deadlift, you know, I'm going to say the bench press as well, but the bench press is probably the least compound out of all of them. Probably the most compound upper body movement would be something like an overhead press. And that's more difficult than a pull-up, because with the pull-up, it's basically waist up, right? You know, whereas with when you're balancing weight in your hand above your head in overhead press, you know, your freaking toes are working as well, you know. So these are the exercises that are the biggest bang for your buck, and it just goes to show you, man, like even 50% of your one rep max can beat the hell out of you. It's just an interesting thing. I like to experiment with some of these things. I've said this in the past, that the majority of, not the majority, a large portion of the fun that I get in the gym is actually, you know, thinking about things and experimenting. I love doing that. I love testing the human body on me, because like I basically am a guinea pig, and when something works out really well, I get really excited and I implement that, and you know, try and progress it and whatnot. But anyway, if you guys have never tried that, put 50% on the barbell and just see how long you can last with a barbell. You know, still do your squats, but I guess compare what you can do when you're just doing normal repetitions at normal speed. Compare it to when you're taking 10 breaths between each sorts of 5. I can guarantee you things are gonna look differently, you know. Maybe some of you guys are, you know, really tough in the upper back and you can just take the rack position. For me, that's definitely a weakness. Anyway, that's basically what I did today. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys even want to try this. Something interesting that I tried today. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.